Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting Indie Agency News. Before we get started, I want to express a little gratitude, first of all, to you for supporting this mission, and also to our preferred partners. So we waited quite a while before we brought in sponsors, 18 months, if you want to be specific. We wanted partners who solve problems that keep you, indie agencies, up at night. So let's be real for a second. Running media in-house, especially when your team is lean and client demands, as we all know, they ain't going anywhere. So you know what I'm talking about. And the late nights and the platform updates and then the switching. This is where Path Labs comes in. As your media execution partner, they are our exclusive partner for that. They've helped over 50 indie agencies across 30 industries grow smarter and scale faster. And this is without adding any headcount. Here's the thing. 130% net dollar retention rate and 99.98% contract fulfillment. And those aren't marketing numbers. Those are agencies love working with us numbers. And so what I really appreciate, I've gotten a chance to get to know the people at Path Labs. They're real people, not some platform or automated tool. Experienced media pros who get it. So if you're ready to streamline media execution without sacrifice, check out Path Labs. You can go over here. You can go to indieagency.partners, go to our page, take a look at Path Labs, look at the pain point they solve, look how they help agencies, look at the metrics, and you can start very simply by starting with a free strategy call, no obligation. Thank you again for supporting Indie Agency News, and thank you, Path Labs. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to another Meet an Indie Agency. I am Kyle O'Brien, Managing Editor for Indie Agency News. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to bring right on one of the founders of Mother Bear, based in Chicago and Seattle. So we're going to bring him on, Jason Weinberger. Glad you can join us. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great. And you are currently in Chicago.
Yes, although it's not the best weather to be here in Chicago, but otherwise things are going pretty well.
All right. Well, luckily we can't see the dreariness, is it? Or
it's very cold, rainy, all of it. Yeah.
I got you. So anyway, so tell me a little bit about Mother Bear. What's the agency best known for?
Yeah, for sure. So Mother Bear, we're an agency for we're a marketing communications agency for scaling brands. So I think what we've been known for is we've really built our agency around what scaling brands need, which has led to us. There are about 5 common problems we find scaling brands have. So first would be like team problems. As companies are growing, they're not really having the right team in place. We can be an extension of their team, whether that be creative needs, fractional CMO offerings. So that's one of the big problems we solve. I think next is a brand problem where maybe they have a great product that they feel really good about, but the value prop's not coming through and isn't clearly defined. Another one is performance problems where they just have high customer acquisition costs. So they feel good about the positioning, about the product, but they're having a hard time getting customers or it's too expensive to get them. Fourth, I'd say, is growth has stalled. So maybe they need to move to an adjacent category and we help work with them on that. And I think last is awareness where, maybe they have a compelling story to tell, but nobody's seeing it. And there's a lack of awareness and credibility with their target.
Okay. All right. So that being stated, then what do you think your top 3 core strengths are for the agency?
Yeah. So I think, is solving those problems, I would say, right. First identify. And I think the way we solve those would be our 3 strengths. So we'd say like delivering clarity in strategy, building credibility with people's audience, and then driving conversion with customers. So the big 3s of clarity, credibility, and conversion, I think has really differentiated us that a lot of agencies aren't maybe doing all that. And in order to do that, we've built our agency around strategic marketing, PR and comms, and digital and creative, which I think is also unique for an agency our size. But we're finding that's really what the scaling brands need. And it allows us to really focus on solving the problems rather than trying to deliver a particular type of medium, like a digital answer or PR answer. We could be pretty agnostic.
Gotcha. And so how big is the agency? How many people do you have? And when were you founded?
Sure. So in terms of how big we are, we're about 20 full time. And then we have another probably half dozen on sort of like a perma-lance contract, and then we kind of scale up and down, using freelance as people do. In terms of when we were founded, there's sort of two answers to that. So we already, went through a merger in our 5.5 years. So me and my original co-founder, Matt, we have creative backgrounds, and we started a digital creative firm. And then we were partnering with Nancy and Katie out of Seattle, had PR strategy firm. We were partnering for a while, and kind of were building our story of what the kind of clients we like working on. And, I mentioned that scaling brands and just being agnostic on the delivery. So we were just really partnering on clients for a long time. We started sort of business dating, and then sort of got legally hitched about 1.5 years ago, and then rebranded as Mother Bear. So I'd say overall we've been around about 5.5 years, but in the kind of current form, it's been about 1.5 years.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's take a look here. There is your website. What first people see. Where did the name Mother Bear come from?
Yeah, that's a good question. As we were working on our positioning, and as mentioned, working on scaling brands, what we offer for them, we had a line that we guide, protect, nurture brands through their growth journey. And as we were talking about that, my partner was like, "Oh, that actually sounds like a Mother Bear." And we really liked the name. It was like sticky, easy to remember, has like a nice combination of tenacity and heart to it that we felt really represented us. And also the name wasn't taken, so that's always helpful.
That always helps. Yeah, you usually want a name like I guess you couldn't have called it McDonald's even as much as you wanted to. So let's talk a bit about being an indie. What makes it being important to be an indie for you and the agency?
Yeah, that's really important to us. I think especially, we're a mix of mostly a lot of holding agency dropouts on the creative side. And then, Katie and Nancy actually come client side, former head of PR at Zillow and former head of B2B marketing most recently. So we just come from these really large companies. And I think, especially for me personally, coming from the holding company world, a lot of fees are going to fancy offices, to the holding companies in, New York, Paris, wherever. And, all of the fees that clients pay us go to senior talent. So that allows us to have senior talent when we don't have a lot of overhead and being independent. And also just allows us that when a client meets the new business team, that's who actually works on their stuff. There isn't some specialized new business team that baits and switches that, when we pitch, if you like us, you get us. And I think that's really important to me.
Yeah, I think it counts for a lot, and probably counts for your clients too. So what are your clients saying, and do they appreciate you being an indie? I mean, do they come to you for being an indie and stay with you for that purpose?
Yeah, for sure. I think that comes up, being an indie or sort of adjacent to that. I think the value we're able to bring holistically.
Gotcha. All right. So speaking of brands, give me the main reason a brand would want to work with Mother Bear.
Yeah, well, I think we could be pretty fun to work with. Hopefully, is part of it. I think we all have some nice, fun people. But I think in terms of the main reasons, I'd say one is our unique leadership team and background, and also our unique breadth of offerings for an indie agency our size. So I think we bring a really unique perspective, being founded by a mix of client side marketers and agency side folks. It's not something I see a ton of. And I think that breadth and depth allows us to solve a lot of problems. I feel like there aren't a lot of problems we haven't seen, and we've solved so many, and we've been in their shoes. So I think that's really also resonates with clients when we're pitching. That a lot of the agency folks maybe are focusing on creative rather than the business problem, and I think we're able to creatively solve business problems with our structure. And then I think the other is, I felt like also when I was at the big agencies, if I was at a digital agency, the answer to every client problem was a banner ad. Traditional agency, we're really trying to sell TV because I think that's how they often made money, or they're lane within the holding company. And we're really agnostic on the medium, that we focus on the problem. And if the answer is PR or performance marketing or a new website or all of the above, we have the experience to execute across any of those mediums.
That's great. So you've worked with obviously a lot of brands over the years. So what have you learned from those brands that has helped you grow as an indie agency?
Yeah, well, that's a big question. I think at different points of my career, I think different things. I started a lot of my first big stuff. I was working on a lot of like fun B2C brands, which was really good for brand building. I was working on like Gatorade, Miller, Harley Davidson, and I think I just learned a lot about just really crafting compelling brand narratives. But then I switched to like Sprint B2B. And I don't know if you remember, Sprint wasn't the most beloved brand, and it just became a much different challenge than, everyone kind of liked those other brands I mentioned. And I think it's really cutting my teeth on B2B and also seeing B2B didn't have to be boring.
Yeah.
The challenge of messaging for brands that maybe are struggling, which I think opened up a whole different path for me and ended up kind of, I think, where we are now, where as much as I loved, working on Miller Lite, right? It's like, well, if you like Miller Lite or not already, right? I'm not like shaping the brand in people's minds. It's not necessarily a high growth company. They're more maintaining share. And I think some of the challenges of working in some of the B2B space kind of unlocked the desire to work on smaller brands, scaling brands, and have just like a much different impact than maybe I was able to on some of the larger ones.
Yeah, certainly. I always say that if you can make B2B interesting, then you've hit the gold mine, because for so long it was so dull. And so
Yeah.
if you can understand that and how to make it good, then you can do anything with any brand. So you guys have it going for you. Let's talk a bit about talent. How are you getting your talent, and then how do you bring them into your agency? What do you do to kind of attract good talent?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's a mix. I mean, I think, on the creative side, luckily been around the block enough, and there are enough people who want to leave the holding company agencies. So I think, there's certainly a lot of talent coming through there, through friends and friends of friends. And then also, Katie and Nancy, some of the team they built on PR and brand strategy, I think they were just really loved leaders. So a lot of people from, Zillow, Amazon, Starbucks have come over as well. But in terms of like talent that wasn't, an immediate connection that we've brought on or hired, I think what makes us, unique and fun is we do work on such a range of types of projects, and we're also about 50-50 B2B, B2C, that I think someone who can come in can really work on a range of mediums and a range of types of clients. And that, for someone who, right, maybe cut their teeth on a brand like Miller Lite and I think learned a lot, and there's a lot of great stuff there, can come work on a scaling brand. And there's just a different kind of joy of working with some of these smaller companies that you can have an impact on. Like, so recently we took over a tea brand, a Yerba Mate brand that was really struggling despite having a great product. And it was just awesome to come in and fix their funnel and do some of their creative. And then a couple of weeks in, the client messaged us and said we had to like stop because they ran out of product, which was like, it's cool, right? And like,
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. And it's like, okay, cool. Now we get more product and then keep building and scaling from there. And that's just a great feeling when somebody really needs that help. And you're not going to get that working for, a giant Fortune 500 company, right? So I think you're able to work on different kind of problems and just learn from a lot of different leaders, whether it be senior creative leaders to senior brand marketing leaders. We have, former journalists on the team. We just have a unique blend. So I think it's a pretty cool place to grow and learn.
Nice. So when you have the talent, you get them in there. How do you keep them there? Aside from, working with those great brands, do you have any programs? What do you do to keep them interested and keep them growing?
Yeah, it's a good question. We have good retention. We haven't had a full-time person quit yet, but I don't believe in jinxing. But I think yeah. I think so. One is like the type of work, as I mentioned. I think also we have a really good work-life balance. Such as summer Fridays and things. We're closed Christmas week. We're also closed 4th of July week, which I think is a little unique. And we really try to make sure we're staffing where people aren't kind of like burning the midnight oil, like I think they are at a lot of agencies. So I think that goes a long way. And I think also we have a pretty robust feedback and reward structure in terms of profit share, in terms of learning and development. Also, we are technically like fully remote. So I think that helps, that a lot of people want to be remote these days, but we do have places to go for people who want to. So like I am in our Chicago office because I like to be in the office, and some people do, but we don't make anyone go in. So I just think there's a lot we do that's really flexible for people, whether it be learning and growth opportunities to work-life balance.
Nice. So you have offices, but they're just there if you need them or want them.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the fun question.
Sure.
We a lot of us in the indie world, we either consider ourselves weirdos, misfits, or underdogs. Sometimes all three of them. What as Mother Bear, what do you consider yourselves? Weirdos, misfits, or underdogs? And
sure. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, there is a little bit of all three for sure. You can make a case. Especially any indie probably has felt like an underdog many times. But I went with Misfits, I think, because we just have such a wide range of backgrounds. You know, like we have client-side people who are actually pretty creative and recently helped out a lot doing creative for a pitch. On the other side, we have creatives with MBAs, which I think is unusual. We have people who worked on Fortune 50 brands, both agency and client side, and then people who've worked on startups, both client side and agency. So we're just like a kind of a misfit group of talent. I don't know if we really fit in a box.
That's good. You don't want to.
Right. Yeah.
But no, that's great. Love a good band of misfits. So we have a thing here at the close. If you could reach out to any CMO or marketer or anybody you want, it could be client, could be anybody you want to say hello to in the industry, who would you want that to be?
Yeah, I'd say probably Morgan Flatley, which is a big one. I don't know if you know of her. She's the head of marketing at McDonald's, like worldwide currently, which is
there you go.
A big name to throw out there. But the Gatorade Super Bowl commercial I did was like a big start for my career. And I was the youngest person by a good amount on that set. And she was the youngest client. So we became friendly, and she was just like an awesome client to work with. I really enjoyed that. And then as I was kind of exploring different things in my career, thinking about getting ad advertising even, and going to business school, like not a lot of creatives really did that. And I reached out to Morgan, and she was a pretty big deal at that point, moved up quickly. And, she took the time to meet with me and have conversations, and just everyone I've come across over the years who work with her, when she was at PepsiCo or now McDonald's, I think just always has great things to say. And it's just like cool to see where she's gotten to from where we were back in 2008, I think 2009.
Wow. That's a great story. And Morgan, I hope you're listening. So
yeah.
Anyway, Jason Weinberger, thank you so much. And thank you for letting us know about Mother Bear. Where can people find you? This is the website, but where can people find you?
Yeah, website is always a good start. There's a contact page if everyone wants to say hi. We're motherbear.agency. Also search Mother Bear Agency on LinkedIn, or you can add me. I'm Jason Weinberger. There are a few other ones online, but yeah, I'm the Mother Bear one. So hopefully not too hard to find.
All right. Well, that's great. Jason, thank you so much for talking to us and letting us know a bit about Mother Bear, and all the best to you. And thank you for being a member. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.